We are recording. Welcome to another episode of Hangout with Mentors. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m., we show up here with a different topic on purpose, all value-based topics that will add to, give you strategies for your marketing, your business, and in your life. And tonight is no different. So first of all, I am Susan Bachelder. And who are we? We are the Unstoppable Alliance, and we're a group of leaders and entrepreneurs who gather together on purpose to do things like this: share value, support, share resources, and provide that safe place for people to gather and earn money while they're learning, to work together. It's collaborative learning model, which is really powerful. If you're not familiar with it, you can look it up. And maybe that'll be one of the topics on Hangout with Mentors, because it is a very powerful learning and support model that's been used for many, many years. So tonight is no different than that. And it's the really cool thing is that we have our panel sometimes switches up, and we definitely take feedback and questions and input from the rest of our members, because when you give people a voice and give people that safe place, it's amazing how they'll step into their potential. And leaders that were just kind of not seen or not visualized somewhere amongst there will come out and do some amazing, extraordinary things. So that's one of the side intentions of everything that we do here. So if you happen to be a member and this is one of your first times watching, be sure that you check back to past Hangout with Mentors. They're almost always evergreen, as everyone on the panel will nod and say, yes, it's true. So go back, ask your whoever invited you here. Gregory turns it on to nod. If they're not readily available in a list, just go back to whoever brought you here or one of us and ask for them. There's a varied list of topics. So definitely use them for your own learning. Use them also as leverage. It's a really powerful tool, and that is one of the topics that we've covered. Use your resources and the tools and the community in general as leverage to help invite and close your sales. Because when you have something that powerful, it's almost just as, or it's a different kind of power than the product itself, right? So that's called sales leverage or marketing leverage. So use it. And this is just one of the many tools that we have to offer. So on to the topic. And why did I kind of want to spell all that out? Because the topic is the secret weapon to productivity that creates extraordinary results. And that secret weapon is using your time wisely, time management. Time is what it is, right? Every minute is the same. It takes up the same time space as every other minute. So we cannot, people say time management, but we actually can't really manage our time, but we can manage what we do within our time. So we can manage ourselves. Really, the only thing we have control over is ourselves and what we do in each given minute and moment, and how present we are within it and how productive we are in that focus. So what does all that have to do with what I just said, the spiel about the community and the content and leveraging? And that's using your time and your focus productively, on purpose. Everything should be on purpose. So in any given 60 minutes, if you're being methodical and if you're using your time to get done exactly what you want to get done, and using the powerful tools right out in front of you, instead of looking beyond for something complicated and something fancy, it might be right out in front of you that you can use. So that's kind of where I hope I'm bringing the topic into this. One of the concepts that I thought we'd talk about, and Ray, I know that you've brought this up on another Hangout with Mentors that we talked about, and it's using blocks of time. There's lots of literature, and we can maybe delve into it a little bit deeper and actually teach people, because there's a few simple strategies on how to time block and it's very effective. And there's a book I was going to suggest. Let me see. The One Thing. Do you guys know that book? The One Thing. It's called The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results. And that title actually helped me create, and this is another golden nugget, but that title helped me create the title for this Hangout with Mentors. So use content that's already created, make it your own, and then refer back to that person. So the content, as I write it up, I'm going to give kudos to Gary Keller, is the author of that book, and I'm going to say, this title, I love this book, I love the concept, I love what you taught in this book. In fact, I teach it all the time, and your title gave me the idea for a title of Hangout with Mentors that I hosted. Does that make sense? So use other people's content to inspire you to create your own content, and then give them kickback. Say thanks, or shout out that they did that. And all of this, because, and how is that leading to being productive? Well, I already know that book was a great book. It's well read, it's great content. I've read it, many other leaders have read it, so they're gonna get it. So in using my time, I was very short on time today. So in using my time effectively to come so that I could come here and hang out with you guys, I grabbed somebody else's concept. I'm using it on purpose. And here we are. We're going to talk about it. So it's prioritizing. It was a real priority. And this is a hint. It's the first thing that he wants you to do. Prioritize. Identify your priority and work on that. So some people block a time, like I have 30 minutes to work on something. But as we mentioned, remember, each minute the minute is the same length of time. It's what you do within your time that will create the productivity. So choose your priority and get that done. In other words, work in events. What do I absolutely need to get done? Whether it takes you 10 minutes or 360 minutes, do you need to get that event done? Yeah, so you work until you're done that project. It's really cool. So, and you make sure that you do planning time. Every Sunday, I myself do planning time. Each one of us should have planning time. Maybe a block of 15 or 30 minutes or some chunk of planning time every day. But once a week, you should absolutely have planning time. Your week will go way smoother. And Tammy might mention it when when I hand it over to her. But the weeks that we do our planning time together as well, those weeks always go the smoothest. Always. So working in blocks of events, like things that you absolutely need to accomplish, and that comes back to the priorities, it's amazing how effective it is. And then don't forget to block time off, because we'll all be more productive when we're not so tired or whatever, that space that you give your mind. So yeah, we all want extraordinary results, right? So I think as we go around, I know for sure each one of these wonderful people that have joined me on the panel tonight have more to add, and that's the beauty of this alliance. Please do take notes, and if you have feedback, the chat, if you haven't found the chat, there should be, I don't remember exactly how it looks if you are on your phone or if you're on like if you're not on a Mac, what the chat button looks like, but look for the chat button and do give your feedback or ask questions as we're talking here, because we do definitely want your input. And I think that's all I wanted to start with right now. Tammy, are you ready to pop out and share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I got about 2 minutes to say, right?
Yeah. Okay. So here on the PC, on the top third button. Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I absolutely plan every single day. One of the things that we get asked a lot, I know I do personally, is, when you get into this business, how much time will it take? And I usually respond by saying, well, how good of an organizer are you? Because it really comes down to that. Like, in other words, like Susan just mentioned Sunday. She takes Sundays. I actually do too. I take Sunday after like the family time, and then I'll start my to-do list for the week. And then the to-do list for the week actually gets changed just kind of variation of whatever happens or pops up in my personal life. Like yesterday, for example, I had a bunch of stuff I had to do that popped up, and I simply had to do it. It just had to get done. Sometimes you have to get those things done so that it comes off your list, so that you have your mind freed up so you can focus back on your business. It just happens. Life happens. But there's one thing that I really, really want to talk about really tonight with this subject, and it's a secret weapon. And a lot of times I'll talk about this in some of those Saturday meetings, especially is, my goal is to always have 1 to 2 to 3 members signed up every single day. And so how do I do that? Like, what does my schedule look like? How many people do I have to follow up with? How many people, I have a list. I'm always keeping a list. We have also spreadsheets and things like that. And I think you really want to get down to the nitty gritty when you're talking about 6 and 7 figures with this business. So your schedule to do that, to plan that is really, it's going to take you some time. It's going to take about an hour to really plan that out. What do your numbers look like? I'm getting into more and more structures on numbers and things like that. I'm always increasing my knowledge on that. So you really just have to kind of bottom line, okay, well, how am I going to do that? And the conversations, I'm getting into more and more, conversations with people and things like that, because it's all great to have websites and technology, but the more that I'm reaching out and talking with people and even going back through some follow-ups, it seems like it's increasing and it starts filling up the pipeline again. And that's all you got to do in this business is generate leads, build the rapport, but you want to set aside a time. The best time, in my opinion, is when people get done with work. So a lot of times my like I said, I was working on some content today, some different Craigslist ads, for example, and things like that. I'm tweaking that right now. But the best time to get a hold of people is before 9. Well, number one, you can't really call after 9, but between the hours of, I'm talking Eastern time here, between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You got 3 hours really to connect with as many people as you want. That's what I do, and that's it's almost like a habit. It's like a habit that's ingrained in me. So I just know that that's almost like rush hour traffic. You know what I mean? And that's just something. Now there are some morning people. I had 2 morning people this morning, and so I kind of have to split my day. But that, as far as if you want to call it the recruiter or sponsor kind of mindset, that's what I've been doing for so many years, that it's just it's ingrained in me that, yes, I'm going to have to talk to some people in the morning, so you better get your coffee consumed, So that happens. But the time that you can have to free yourself, you can work 3 to 4 days. You can crunch it down, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be, how can I say this, stressed out to think that you have to do this full time, because you can actually do this part time and still have another full time job until you're working your way into it. So you can set up a lot of your campaigns on the weekends, in my opinion, to help with your time throughout the week. You can have stuff running in the background, is what I'm suggesting to a lot of people that do still have a full-time job. So hopefully that's helpful, because I know that's a big question I get a lot is, well, hey, I still am working a full-time job. How, in fact, I got to follow up with a person tonight after this. How can I do this if I'm working full-time? In fact, one guy has 3 jobs right now. He has 3 jobs right now, and his wife is actually the one that's going to be doing this. So I said, well, isn't your motivation to get you to 1 job? Is it, like, in other words, 3 jobs? That's terrible in order to support their kids and their family. So right now, that's a prime example of their time. They're saying, how can I do this? So we're teaching them how to leverage their time with systems. So that's just a prime example. I always like to use real life stuff that I'm going through right now with some candidates.
Thank you, Tammy. That added a lot. Thank you very much. And to be really specific, the secret weapon is being productive with whatever time you have, and be task oriented. So in other words, prioritize what you need to get done and focus on that event, not how long it's taking you to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, if I'm sitting in this chair and I'm looking and you see this, then I'm working, like I'm connecting, with
Yeah.
people. That's what and when I'm in the hot seat, so to speak, my time has got to be very productive here.
Yeah, absolutely. Super T, what do you have to add on the topic? I know that we've had conversations about this. You have a focus muscle. That's what it's about. Exercise your focus muscle.
Yeah, I really totally believe that, I call it, everybody has the same 24 boxcars. There's only so many hours a day. So fill them with, what is most important. And if you make it consistent, everything lines up and, the day runs smoothly, your life runs smoothly. I've come to really realize now at this point, when a lot of things in my life are not directly in my control, the things that I can control and put in order and line up really make a difference. So when it takes time to go ahead and put those things together and people say, well, maybe I'll just let this go or not, be orderly about it. That's necessary. That's having to track it and put it together and follow something specific. That gives me a balance. That makes me productive. That allows me to be able to see exactly how much more I can do. Once I track things and, and watch the way I'm actually using the same hours that I've always had, the same hours I had yesterday, and realize that I can do so much more in that time, the better I feel, the more confident I feel about my ability to give back and to do the things that I really want to do, to multiply myself, to multiply, increase in others. With that, I need that extra time. I need, I was listening, studying with Ray. I really, that's part of what I schedule into my week. Ray is a necessary energy that I need to absorb. So speaking with him, and we were talking, and it was like saying, if you get up just another hour earlier, if you calculate that within the next year, you have 40 hours, almost, well, some people would relate it to almost an extra work week that you can have, but you still have the same 24 hours, but you became more productive. You did more things in that time. You lined things up. So for me, that calms the chaos, and I can see the light. I'm able to actually, line up those calls. And I'm talking about around my life. Lots of things just occur that I, can't take care of. But when I'm able to actually, and I know, like you said, Susan, I can't control time, but when I'm able to, get a hold of my time and put it in the order that, like you said, prioritize it and get things done and concentrate on those special projects that I know I can take care of, I am productive and happier. I just guess that's an innate human feeling, to be productive and to give back and to know that you're doing something worthwhile. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Feeling that sense of accomplishment is really high up there. Like love has the highest energy and vibration, and then second is gratitude, and then there's a few more in between there. But the other human feeling that drives us and energizes us and feeds us the most is a sense of accomplishment. So it's really high up on the priority list. So yes. That is really, really important. We feel good when we accomplish stuff.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Super T. It's wonderful to have you on the panel.
Thank you.
Speaking of energies, I'd like a piece of time with you every week. Let me get in on that. Anyway, thank you very much. Over to you, Ray.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is a great topic. Yeah, and when I used to hear the secrets to success, man, I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta listen, I gotta listen, because I need this, I need that secret." And I'm taking notes, guys. I mean, I'm taking notes from you guys too, because it really is something that's a collective. Knowing how I learned a little bit more about managing my time because I was feeling so guilty of things that didn't get done by the time you're ready to rest, and you're like, man, I didn't do that, or I didn't do this. And that caused me to really want to shake myself a little bit and say, wait a minute, I know I can do better, but where do I want to do better? And it's when you have those focus blocks of time, like you said, Susan, having that ability to just be in that moment, to be able to be productive with that time. Whether you're thinking about something, you're really trying to get a picture of where you want to go, a plan together, so that you could start moving forward, and really feel guilt free about it. Because I know from a worker's standpoint, from people who have jobs, you don't really have to prioritize too much when you have a job, so it's something you really have to exercise when you go and you're doing an entrepreneurial venture for yourself. And that's one of the things that I've learned. I've learned that it's that entrepreneurial piece. You need that motivation. You really need courage, right? You need
Yes.
courage, you need belief, you need and what really helped me is becoming mission oriented. You know, knowing that, hey, I'm on a mission here. So I'm not expecting like grandiose results tomorrow. But I know that if I do a little bit today, and I know that I did it at my best, then that's going to carry into tomorrow, and that's going to create that momentum that I'm seeking. So I'm really looking for momentum. That kind of was my mind shift. I'm looking for my momentum, not so much a monetary result. I'm looking for my momentum that gives me that juice that keeps me going daily. So with that said, writing things down, I bought a planner that has the times blocked out, and I'm writing down my times as diligently as possible, writing down everything that I do, whether it's walking away from my desk to go get some water. I know that when I walk away from my desk to go get water, there's about four faces that are going to say, hey, let me talk to you for a minute, because I got 3 kids and a wife, right? Not
Yeah.
a burden, a joy, right? So you got to really be able to say, okay, I've got to get this done. I know when I'm going to walk. I used to do this. I used to write on my door, do not disturb, and I would tape it up. And guess what? Nobody bothered me. Right? And they respected that. So that was my way of saying, I got to focus on something. So you guys, if it's an emergency, then open door. But if it's not an emergency and you just want to know something, it's right now I got to do this. So to me, it was really changing from not just a business but a mission. What is my mission in my business? What is my mission? What am I trying to create? What am I going toward? And the more I focused on that, the more productive I got, even in the small tasks. And I felt really good about finishing them, because when I got done, guess what? I didn't feel guilty. The guilt went away. The guilt of where you get overwhelmed and you go, oh, what do I do next? What do I do now? And you get all cramped up and your mind's just grinding. And that's what's really helped me. And so blocks of time, all that is very important to me. But I think really emotionally, in that emotional space, was really saying, hey man, my life's, this is a mission for me, and my mission is to help as many people as I can. So to me, that's what it's become. And it helps me now really put those blocks of time in without feeling like, oh, I got to do this, or, oh man, here we go, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is a great topic. And I think a lot of it, for most people who may be feeling that they have a job and they got all these other things, the other duties that you really have to take care of and are very important to you and your family, it's courage, belief, and really look at it as a mission. I think if you see that, starts to become a game, and that's what it's really become for me. It's more like a game now, and that's what's fun. That's what makes it fun for me. So
I like that. I like that. And it increases your energy rather than depletes your energy, doesn't it, Ray?
truly a night and day difference.
Yeah, I love what you've just described. Thank you very much. And it fits focusing on your mission, your overall mission. That fits with focusing on your event, your blocks of what you would need to accomplish in a certain time. It's rather than focusing on numbers such as the clock and the dollar figures specifically, but the overall, what do you want to get out of it? What do you want to accomplish? Because really, yes, we're all here about it's about money, because money is the lifeblood of everything that we want to accomplish. It's what helps us design our life, but it's not really the money.
Right.
It's what the money brings us. It's the lifestyle. It's the experience, right? So yeah, what is our mission within that? And when we chunk, so that's chunking out. Now let's chunk down. And how do we accomplish that mission? By each task and event in the day. So there's a bunch of little tasks and blocks of things that need to be accomplished to accomplish that big mission. I love it, Ray. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is really great. Gregory.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
I can't quite say it. I can't do the Gregory. Hey.
Hey.
I'm working on it.
So, I heard you say when Super T said she had her raid time, and we're gonna say, I wanted to say, Super T, don't bogart Ray. We've all got to have some Ray, and we just got a good dose right there. Yeah, don't bogart Ray. Yeah, we all got to have our Ray. But we have some, and Ray just pretty much said everything I was going to say. So because he covered the points, he really did. He covered almost like my bullet points. Ray, you killed it, buddy. But I love when he said he was talking about prioritizing. When you're going into a job, you don't have to worry about prioritizing, because you just kind of go there and you do your thing. And I remember, being an entrepreneur and then kind of slipping back and then going to the JOB realm. And there was something that was pacifying about it that said, you know what, I can just punch a clock, do my mindless deed things, and do it well, but still you really don't have to think very hard, just doing things. And then I clock out, and then I would find myself like watching TV because I did my thing. I was productive, but then I would find that I wanted to decompress from that. So I'm so glad that I escaped from that again for the second time, because now I'm in a world that I don't have to really decompress from. And the other part that, as far as, my 2 cents, I'm probably the least technically organized person in this panel. And I'm just being honest. And you can learn from people, from everybody. You can learn what to do and learn what not to do. So you can probably learn more of what not to do from me in this field. But I'm getting better. And the thing that really helps me and has helped me, I think, more like in the last year for sure, is by deconstructing that. I guess you would say chunking back would be to really go back to like you're calling it a mission, but just go back into your belief systems.
Yes.
And this was what really does it for me, is believe, why are you here and what are you doing and why are you doing it? And first of all, if you get yourself into a state where you can really keep your belief and your why together. Like, I believe that if I follow this set of tasks, I believe that my why will come closer. I will be closer to that event or to that achievement, whatever it is, fill in the blank. And then it goes back to the same old thing of that, your why should be something, your reason to work, in case this is new to people, your why, WHY, should be so powerful, and it should elicit so much passion from you that it should inspire you to fly out of bed and to work on that. If your why doesn't have you doing that, you deserve to tweak that or to amp it up a little bit. And then once you have like something that you can really visualize having that would really make a wonderful change in your life and then consequently other people's lives, then you will take that. A lot of people, who are in the business, they work on personal development. I'm sure we've all heard that we have this bank of the same bank of 86,480 whatever it is seconds per day, right? And you value your seconds of the day of your 86,480 seconds as though it were a bank account. And the same way that you manage your time is the way you manage your money. Are you going to just let it go frivolously, or will you spend your time wisely? And I'm here to say that when you can align your why with your belief that what you're doing can get you closer to it, then you will invest your time intuitively in that forward momentum rate, into the forward momentum period. And you said it exactly. Also, that was the other thing I wanted to say is momentum. That is what you're going for. And I was just reminded of that from our Unstoppable group that had come up into conversation. And I just listened to that again from Jason's call Momentum. It is superb and is must listen to stuff right there. So the momentum is really what we're going for. And by that is, having the momentum of doing your consistent deal, whatever it is consistently, whatever that looks like for you, take from all these great leaders and come up with your own, something that feels right for you. Because I'm motivated by purposeful action. If I feel inspired, I do that. And I don't do everything consistently at the right same time every day, like perhaps I should or I will do. But I love everything that I do is purposeful, and I feel it's inspired. So I deserve to be more consistent with my daily DMO. But when we can learn to become detached when we're talking to people, and you believe that what you have is actually a solution for not just yourself, but also a solution for them, for whatever it is that they want or their why, then I feel inspired that when I'm talking to somebody, I'm not working. I'm playing, if you will, but I'm also I'm doing something that charges me up. It doesn't deplete me. It's just like, this is, I'm doing something that's a service. And so, but while I'm bringing this forward, people either get it or they don't. But I am detached from the outcome. I know that for sure. So if I just go in there and I do, I like to make Monday through Thursday my definitely productive time, but we still do stuff on Saturdays, and we're always talking to people every single day of the week. But so I kind of mix mine out and spread it out a little bit differently than everybody else. But if I could just say that what has had me narrowing in my focus has really been about making sure that my mission is at the forefront, like I've heard at least two of you say that so far, have that at the forefront. And then as far as the technicals of how to manage, I would defer to all of you guys, like for sure, onto the technical aspects, because that's something that I'm growing into myself as we continue to do throughout life, hopefully. That's it. That's my
Awesome.
ditty.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gregory. That added so much and really touched on all the points that we've covered and talked about. So thank you. You brought it again. So yes. And the cool thing, and Karen, thank you for jumping out on the panel with us. I have something specific I want to talk with you about, and I think everyone will find a lot of value. So thank you for coming out on this topic specifically. The one point that I want to touch on is distractions. And one of the favors that we can do for us is if we've sat down at our computer, let's just say, this is just an example, and we have a task that we want to get done. Is it writing up some ad copy, or for me, it might be some web pages that I want to create or develop, or maybe it's some email copy you want to write, but a specific task that requires some thinking, or maybe it's a back and forth messaging conversation with a potential new member, and you should just really focus on it and do a good job at it. It's really important to not leave our phone in front of us. Like, I know we want to be on and we want to interact and respond to what's going on, but every time our eyes leave what we're doing and our attention and our focus, we're breaking down our focus muscle per se. And that's kind of moving forward. That's what's happening with this fast-paced digital society. So we literally need to move the phone sometimes out of the room. So we're not thinking about the phone. We're not wondering about notifications, and just give yourself that space to do whatever that task is that you want. You will find a huge difference, a huge difference. Rarely ever is something so urgent during that time that you can't give yourself the space to finish that task at hand. And that's I think that that's a gift that we deserve to give ourselves when we're working on something important. Get the phone out of there. It is a money maker, but just get it out while you're working on something specific, or shut down social media for days. Again, blocks of time. Allow yourself that space to just work on something.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, it works.
That's
It works really
point.
well.
Sometimes you may not make such good, like sometimes people might be offended if you say, I'm sorry, but I'm literally in the middle of a conversation. Like literally I'm talking about your family now. Like Ray, for example, he brought that up. Everybody knows when my door's closed, mom's working, right? But sometimes they come through. But that's a really good point what Susan just said, because it is important to that person that you take that time with them.
Yeah, absolutely. On both sides of the fence.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Karen, where I want to zoom in with this now, and here's the thing, and Karen, you can share and we're almost at the top of the hour, so we won't go into this too detailed. We could actually create a whole hangout on this topic, but we might be methodical and organized and knowledgeable about what we've done before with our time and project management and blocks of time, etc. And this is Karen's example. She's a very knowledgeable, intelligent lady who has had a very organized life, always accomplished a lot. But when you start doing something that is slightly different and slightly new, you're looking at the whole picture and all the pieces, and you have to take some time and step back because you think you need to accomplish it and learn it all the time. And this was one of my close to my heart intentions with this topic, is to help the people. When you first get started, you feel like you're new, you feel almost like childlike, like I know nothing, I can't do this, and you're looking at the whole puzzle. It's a 2,000 piece puzzle and you don't know which piece to start with. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Karen is, as soon as she realized that she just has to use her own amazing skills, man, this lady is on wildfire and accomplishing so much. So talk to yourself, like step back, make your list of all your values and strengths and how great you are. Realize that you already have strengths and just apply those. Don't get lost and overwhelmed with something new when you're starting it, whatever the project is, and chunks of, like, block out your time. So one example that I like to give people is use a block of 4 every single day. So one block is training and figuring out new stuff and new pieces. And one block might be attending community stuff, like really getting the feel for the energy, what's going on, what's new, getting to know people, because that's important. Speaking of momentum, it goes back to momentum. That's will increase our energy and momentum. And then another block, and you have to choose which one are priorities every single day. There's just 4 blocks. The rest, it's up to you. But one of these blocks is money-making activities, directly posting ads, speaking to the potential candidates, like the people that have already raised their hands, following up, and closing those sales. Money-making activities must every single day be a block of time, right, Tammy? Some days you need to shift it, and it gets 2 blocks of time. If you
I like 4 blocks of that.
But you can't have 4 blocks of it, because you can't do money-making activities without the foundation. So that is good. I love that point. But make sure, you guys, you cannot.
No, I do training and I do attend events. Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
Yeah. And your organization foundational tasks. So, sometimes it's sorting through your emails, organizing your files, etc. So 4 blocks of time, and that might mean 1 hour, it might mean 4 hours, it might mean 12-hour a day. But if you picture each day in 4 blocks of time. So over to you, Karen. I talked way longer on that than I thought, but
Oh, it's okay. Susan,
talk about that idea of splitting up into 4 that really threw the tripwire for you.
And I've been doing that since we talked, and it's really helpful. And another thing, one morning I woke up wide awake at 5, and I had 5 hours to myself to do some marketing. And that was a real good reveal about how if I restructure my bedtime and my rising time, I'm going to create more opportunity to be productive and consistent. But I'll tell you, the one thing that helped me the most, Susan, was when you and I talked about chaos. And there's different kinds of chaos. There's chaos that we create, maybe in a dysfunctional way. But if you have a family, be it husband, children, elderly parents, you have chaos and distraction that you cannot control. I'm just a little bit steamy because it was my third time out Ubering today for my husband, and the phone went dead. I was in the car and I lost about 15 minutes of this call. So I laid the long down, and even though I have a husband who's very needy and needs my caregiving, I said, look, you had since Sunday to get a ride for your 6 o'clock event, and you called one person. So this is my last time changing my schedule for you. You've got to call more than one person to get your ride because I've got a business to run. And he was fine with it, but you know what? I don't usually do that, and I just let myself get anxious, get a stomach ache, and run around and rearrange my day 4 times. And I don't want to do that anymore because I've had a taste. I worked really hard on the fan page this week and got a lot of people involved in wanting to participate, and that is mainly due to you, Susan, refocusing me on how to block the time and how to make it happen without me sitting around and thinking about it, but just doing it, and it worked. And I'm so grateful. So don't let your family steamroll you, or your partner, or whomever it is. People have to learn to respect what you're doing, and actually you're doing it for the family. You're not just doing it selfishly so you can go out and go to Vegas 5 times a year and leave the family behind. So
well, maybe some people are. But
I actually do that, but no.
Once or twice a year, but you know what I mean? It's just, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of erasing and rearranging my calendar. And I really want to focus on the 3 or 4 days of hitting it really hard and really heavy, so that I can take the end of the week and have some fun or be with whomever I want to be with. And I mean, we have an anniversary tomorrow, and I've got 2 Zooms at the same time. So I think we're going to be eating at 9 o'clock, but I'm wearing a black dress and he's getting a shirt and tie on, and we're going to have that dinner.
Yay.
Way to go.
Very nice. And thank you for sharing that, Karen. And that is something that Tammy and I both do as well. And Tammy will definitely nod, or maybe you want to speak to it, but adjusting your priorities accordingly. It might be day by day or in that moment. And it's okay to set boundaries and say, you know what? No, you have to hang on. This piece of my business that I have to work on right now is going to take priority right now. I'll get back to you, or whatever. It's about prioritizing. And that's why that was our first point that we talked about. And know what your priority is.
One more thing I want to add. I don't know if you mentioned this while I was gone, but what helped me a lot, Susan, when we were talking about chaos, is I've always been the person, okay, I'm going to get these 3 things done today, come hell or high water. And lots of times I get 2 out of 3. And then the rest of the evening, I don't verbalize it out loud, but I'm yelling at myself about that last thing I didn't get done. So what Susan and I talked about is having goals for the week, and not be so hard on yourself. If Monday night you didn't get those top 3 things done, do the last one Tuesday morning, and get your goals for the week and take it easy. Because when you have a life full of lots of responsibilities, you can't be that rigid about all of them, or you'll get sick. I get stomach aches.
Yes. Or you end up in the hospital with AFib.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All good points. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
That's awesome,
everybody.
Karen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it absolutely is.
this
And
is
I
what
just
I do. I'll say money call, and everybody's like, "Oh." That's all I have to do with my family. Money, mom, money call. Wait.
wait.
Here comes that money.
You got to get those signals established.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour, so I want to thank each of you that that came, and essentially everybody came and stayed till the end. I don't see any questions, but I see lots of input. Thank you very much. If you do have questions, get back to us and ask for sure. If you have been invited to watch this and you're not yet a part of our community, please do get back with the person that invited you and ask how to get started. And if you're watching the recording, the same goes. If you're not already a part of the community, make sure you get back with the person that invited you. Ask where all the rest of our great content is and how you can get started, how you can use it in your business and your life. And to each one of you on the panel, thank you so much. It adds so much value bringing in different perspectives. And you didn't really know where I was going with the topic. And of course, you did awesome, as always. And I'm just going to say this little tidbit. Jason, if you're watching, don't worry about it. He said, do you think you should have the topics earlier ahead of time? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
We
it.
roll here. We just roll with it.
That's right.
Sometimes there's advance notice on topics and it all works out all right. But anyway, I appreciate really from the bottom of my heart each one of you on the panel. It brings a different kind of value than when you hear a value-based topic from just one person, one voice. And each of your voices matter, and I like it when it adds to mine. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Congratulations, Unstoppable Mama, on Jessica's graduation today.
Yay.
Yes.
Everybody celebrate.
Kind of thing. Yeah. Grade 12, graduation.
And thank you for taking the time out, because it is her day, and that just proves to us here how dedicated you are. So thank you, Susan, really, from the bottom of my heart, that you always do that. And
You're welcome.
So thank you.
Truly.
That means a lot to everybody.
You're welcome. On that note, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.